The 2024 NFL Draft is now officially over. It's time to give grades to Ryan Poles and the Bears for how they did. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears draft discussion video. The draft has ended, and now we have 4 months until the season begins. I cannot wait for the season to start now with how much hype is surrounding the Chicago Bears. But I thought I'd make a video grading the Chicago Bears draft pick and tell you guys what I thought about these picks. If you guys want a more in-depth breakdown on these picks, I made videos on all these picks, longer videos covering each individual pick, so check those out too if you want to. But yeah, in this video I'll be going pick by pick and give you guys an overall grade for what I thought of the pick. And obviously it's kind of dumb grading picks before these players actually play on the football field, but this video is only for fun. Do not take this too seriously. I do this every single year, and in terms of my grading scale, I'm grading based on how good I think the player actually is, the value we got for that player if we got them in a position where it made sense in the NFL draft, and also positional value too to some extent. If you're going after guys like, quarterbacks, receivers, they tend to be higher value positions, so if you select them early, I'll give you a higher grade for that too. But with all that being said, let's get into my grades. So with the first pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears selected Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC, and you can't give this grade anything other than an A+, because what else would you give it? Okay, one of the best quarterback prospects that has came out in quite some time, and even though it was a very easy decision to draft him, other GMs we have had in the past might have messed it up, okay? Namely a guy like Ryan Pace or some of the other guys we've had. Maybe they would have fallen in love with the dual threat ability of Jaden Daniels or the in-structure ability of Drake May. Like, I'm happy that even though it was an easy decision, Ryan Poles did not screw it up, and he did select the quarterback that deserved to be drafted at number 1 overall. I think that Caleb Williams could be a Bear for a very long time, especially because of how we set up the situation for his young quarterback. For the first time ever in Bears history, the rookie quarterback is going into a very good situation, a situation that even veteran quarterbacks would have loved to come into right now, right? You got superstars on the offense. You got probably the best receiving core in the NFL. You got a solid tight end. You got a solid offensive line. You got a top 10 defense. At least last year in the second half of the year, they were top 10 on paper. So that also plays into the A+ grade to draft Caleb Williams, because not only did you select the best quarterback in this draft, you put him in a very good position to succeed in the future, which no other Bears GM has really ever done. So I'm definitely giving this pick an A+. But going on to the next first round pick, we had pick number 9. The Chicago Bears selected Washington receiver Rome Odunze, and I also have to give this pick an A+. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to be giving A+ to every pick, but this also was an absolutely fantastic pick, okay, because Rome Odunze in other classes probably would have been the best receiver in the class and taken higher than pick number 9. The Bears got super lucky that because of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors being available in this class and all the good quarterbacks available too, a guy like Rome Odunze fell all the way to pick number 9, and Ryan Poles didn't outsmart himself. He did not try to get too cute and trade down and hope he was still there, or trade down and select an edge rusher, which it would have been cool selecting an edge rusher too, don't get me wrong, but Rome Odunze was the best overall player available on the board, and especially at a position like receiver, where it's so hard to get true number 1s, especially on rookie contracts. To have one now on a rookie contract, that is setting up your franchise for a lot of future success even after Keenan Allen eventually leaves. Keenan Allen is 32 years old, so he's probably going to miss some games next year, right? So you did need to add another receiver, and you added one of the best ones available in this entire draft, a guy that could be a Bear for a very long time to come. He could be breaking a lot of Bears records, because with how bad the Bears history has been at the receiver spot, like our leading receiver all time is Johnny Morris, and he only has 5,000 something yards, right? So if Rome Odunze is a Bear for his entire career, which is too early to say that, but he very well could be, he could be breaking a lot of Bears records, and I'm just so happy that the Bears are just fully investing into their offense for the first time ever as a franchise. Okay, it's 2024, and our GM realizes that you cannot win games or Super Bowls consistently only scoring 14 to 17 points per game. You have to be able to average 24, 28 points per game in some big moments to actually win playoff games, win championships, and the Bears finally are being put in a position to do that with all the fantastic weapons they have. So really, really love the Rome Odunze pick. Going to round 3, then with pick number 75, we selected Kiran Amegadji, offensive tackle out of Yale, and I'm giving this pick a good solid A-. Okay, I think he's a fantastic football player and was picked at a position where we did need some depth, right? Like at offensive tackle, you know, we didn't really have great backups. We had Larry Borum, who was the main primary backup, main swing tackle, but it seemed clear the regime never really liked Larry Borum, so Larry Borum probably is going to be cut after a move like this. And Amagaji is a very high upside tackle prospect. He's super athletic, he fits the scheme very well, has very good length. So if the Bears coaching staff can work with him and get him to be developed to his full potential, he could be a starter down the road. And in the third round, to get a starting tackle, potentially if Braxton Jones leaves, or if you want to move off of Braxton Jones in the future, or even if you want to keep Braxton Jones and just have a very solid sixth offensive lineman, I think this pick could end up being a brilliant one. And we've always complained about past Bears general managers not investing enough into the offensive line, especially the depth. Okay, when we had guys go down, we only had UDFAs and 7th round picks to really fill in for them, which those guys usually are not that good. So to actually build good quality depth now on the Bears offensive line, I'm a massive fan of doing that. The only reason why this is an A- and not an A or an A+ is because I feel like interior offensive line might have been even bigger of a need. So if I'm picking a little bit, maybe I would have liked to see, you know, us attack the interior first, but I'm not going to complain regardless about getting a solid high upside tackle prospect that could be starting for the Bears maybe eventually if he is developed properly. Going into the 4th round then with pick number 122, the Chicago Bears selected punter Tory Taylor, and I'm going to be giving this pick an A. No matter how much you guys may complain about it, I was a big fan of this pick. I wanted to give this pick an A+, but too many of you guys would probably complain in the comment section if I gave a punter selection in the 4th round an A+. So I'm downgrading this to an A just for that reason. But I really do love the pick because Tory Taylor is a generational talent at the punter spot. That's not even a joke, okay? He's one of the best punters I've ever seen in college football. And with how bad Trenton Gill was for us last year, the Bears did need to make an upgrade at that spot. Field position does matter a lot, and the Bears were consistently losing field position because of having a terrible punter on the football field. In college football, Tory Taylor literally won some games for Iowa by himself by flipping the field so consistently and pinning opponents inside the 10 and 5 yard line. So I really think Tory Taylor could be a Bear for 10 plus years. And in the 4th round, you're really only taking flyers on guys. Like, you're not going to be getting full-time starters probably unless you get a little bit lucky. So to get a full-time starter for sure at the punter spot, lock that position up, I think was a fantastic pick by Ryan Poles, and I'm happy that he did not feel like he was too good to select a punter in the 4th round. And lastly, with pick number 144, the Chicago Bears traded up to select edge rusher Austin Booker out of Kansas, and I'm giving this pick an A+. Okay, this was a fantastic value pick. This was a guy that some Bears fans wanted in the 4th round or even earlier. Some mock drafts had him going in round 3, and I am surprised he fell this far. He probably only fell this far because his testing was not as good as it could have been, and also he was very inexperienced. He only played 505 snaps in college football. If he stayed another year, he probably could have been a top 2 round pick. Daniel Jeremiah thought he could be a round 1 pick next year if he chose to go back to Kansas, but he chose to declare early, and the Bears got lucky that a player this talented fell to them at a big position of need. Austin Booker could contribute right away in year 1. He was highly productive last year at Kansas. He could be splitting time with DeMarcus Walker on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. And with the Bears adding defensive coordinator Eric Washington, who was a defensive line specialist, I think adding him could also help Austin Booker develop into the type of player he could be at his highest potential. So, you know, I think the Bears maybe might have gotten a future starter here in the 5th round, and to get a starter potentially, or even a guy that's just a rotational, you know, player for you, is fantastic value in the 5th round. So looking at my final draft grade then, so pick number 1, Caleb, I gave that pick an A+. Rome got an A+. Karen Amagaji got an A-. Tory Taylor got an A. Austin Booker got an A+. So my final composite grade for the Bears for Ryan Poles for the 2024 draft class is an A+. Ryan Poles hit it out of the ballpark with this draft. I was so happy with this draft. I did not disagree with a single pick, to be honest. Like, I know I gave the Karen Amagaji pick the lowest grade at an A-, but even that pick, like, I was okay with because I'm never going to complain about adding to the offensive line. Like, Ryan Poles gave me basically everything I wanted in this draft. I wanted offensive line help. I wanted that superstar quarterback in Caleb Williams. I wanted a fantastic receiver option in Rome Odunze. I wanted an edge rusher. He gave me that too by trading up in the 5th round. I wanted a better punter, and he gave me Tory Taylor, a generational punter. So I can give this draft nothing but an A+. And we'll see how this ages in a few years. You know, hopefully these guys can live up to their potential, but I think the Bears could have gotten 3, maybe even 4 full-time starters for a long time in a Bears uniform, especially, you know, Caleb Rome and Torrey Taylor. I think those guys are guaranteed to be starters for the Bears for hopefully a long time. And if Austin Booker develops, if, you know, Kieran Amagaji develops, like, those guys also could be big-time contributors for the Bears as well. So hats off to Ryan Poles, hats off to Ian Cunningham, the Bears' entire scouting department, because I was a big fan of the Bears 2024 draft. And I think this draft set them up for a lot of future success for many years to come. Leave your comments down below. What grade would you guys give Ryan Poles in this draft? I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say about this draft, but it seems like all Bears fans are super excited, and I cannot wait for the season to actually start. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.